Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Chauskas. Today is the 7th of June 2018. So welcome everyone. So we're going to have a look at the markets, what's happening with them right now, what levels to watch out for later on. But before we do that, let's quickly have a look at our risk disclaimer. So the content of this webinar does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. A few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Also, a very quick reminder of our JFD Brokers research page here, where you can go in and have a look at different analysis that we do on a daily basis. We throw out different trading shoutouts, and of course our main daily analysis that we throw out in the morning. So, yep, feel free to check us out here. But for now, let's quickly have a look at the markets. And the first one I want to start looking at is the FTSE 100. To be honest, not much action happening here. We are in a positive zone today, so we're still kind of balancing around this 21 EMA here, shown as the yellow line. So for now, we're very cautious on this one. For us to become more bullish, we would need to see a nice push here towards this 77.95 area, and eventually a nice close above it in order to kind of aim for higher levels. On the high side here, we do have this recent high, this recent all-time high on the FTSE, so which is the 7903 approximately there. So could be a nice area to touch as again if we make a move above the 77.95. Now the 77.95 area is the high that we had here in January, so this year. So also very good strong area of resistance. Certainly if that gets broken, well, it could open the path towards this higher level that I was just talking about. On the downside, we would need to see a nice push here, well, a move below the 76.90 in order to consider this area right here, which is the next good potential area of support, and that's around 76.10. So this was approximately the low of last week, yeah, it could play out as a good level of support again. Certainly if it starts to break that, then we could start aiming for lower levels, but first, of course, let's get to this point and then we'll have to reevaluate everything again. But for now, like I said, we are quite neutral on this one. We're just continuing to observe it because it continues to trade around this 21 EMA and kind of really not moving anywhere. Looking at the DAX now, and the DAX is, well, it's at an interesting spot. Certainly we can see that it's above this area that I kept talking about in my previous videos, this 12,830. So of course today we managed to reach this 21 EMA, shown here as a yellow line. Slightly broke into the upside, but then actually retraced back down, and now we're testing this 12,830 again. So of course all eyes are on this level today again. If we get it closed below this, we could end up moving towards this 200 EMA here, shown as the black line, and if that doesn't hold, well, we could end up pushing lower here, maybe even towards this 12,600. For now, of course, let's not kind of get ahead of ourselves too much. Again, similar story with the FTSE. We're continuing just to observe this and see where it wants to move, because there is some potential for this one to move higher, but for that we would need to see a nice break here, and especially a close above the 21 EMA, so that we could consider the psychological 13,000 as our next potential target. Let's quickly have a look at Nikkei. Now this one is an interesting one, and certainly at the moment it's looking bullish. It seems that it wants to continue moving higher towards this level right here at around 23,050. Now this level was the high that we had in May, and certainly could act as a good level of resistance, initial good level of resistance. But again, if that doesn't hold, well, we do have some better levels up here. The next one could be a nice one, the 23,500. But for that, we would need to see a nice break above the 23,050. Certainly for now, like I said, this is the target we're aiming for. On the downside, if we manage to make a move below this 22,570 approximately there, well, keep an eye on this next good level of support, the 22,350, 355. Now if we get strong breaks below these two levels, I mean, this could turn out to be ugly for this index, and we could start aiming lower here. On the downside, we do have this nice level here, the 21,930, which probably, let's say, if the index would move here lower, we would have the 200 EMA approaching that level by the time, I mean, if the index would move lower here. So watch out for this one, guys. I mean, for now, of course, the downside is off the table and we're aiming more for the higher side. Let's quickly have a look at the FTSE MIB. That's the Italian index, and of course we're now stuck here in this zone. Now we're stuck here above this level here, the 21,795.93 approximately there. Acted as a good level of support in the past, so we can see it is now also trading around that level. Certainly if we get a break below this, we could aim for the 21,460 again. That we can see that this acted as a good strong level of support as well in the past, and especially here in March this year. So I mean, for now, guys, I mean, stick around and have a look at this one. I mean, just keep it on your radar. If we suddenly make a strong move to the upside here, and we get a nice break, maybe a close above this 22,425, this could be seen as a bullish sign, and we could start aiming for higher levels here. But for now, like I said, just continue monitoring this one. This is an interesting index to observe, and we might squeeze something out of it. Let's quickly have a look at gold now. Gold is trading at around this psychological 1300 right now, and of course, still we continue to be neutral on this one, because we need to see a nice either a break above this 1307 in order to become bullish, or actually a break below this upwards moving trend line here, and eventually maybe a break below this, the 1290 mark. Now again, like I said, I'll repeat myself, we are quite neutral on this one because it's just stuck here in this little area, so we're waiting for a nice pop on this one. Looking at quickly looking at oil, US oil, so it's currently ranging here a little bit for past few days, and certainly overall it's looking a bit bearish, I would say, because we're just below this upwards moving trend line here. This upwards moving trend line has been running since August, end of August 2017. So at the moment we can see clearly that we're below it, and there could be a chance that this downside continuation, the downside move could continue, and we could start aiming for this 64.10 level approximately there as the next potential area of support. Now a break below that could open the doors towards this next good area of support at around 61.90. But for now, of course, like I said, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much, and let's continue watching this level right here. Certainly on the upside, if we suddenly get a move back above this long-term upwards moving trend line, well, the downside could be off the table and we could start aiming higher. Certainly keep an eye on this 66.70 mark. Now a break above that could send this commodity back towards this 69.55 area approximately there, and then eventually higher. But for now, let's keep an eye on this area. Let's see what it wants to do with these two levels. Let's quickly touch on a few pairs. So the euro dollar is, well, looking strong. It's probably today we can say that it's the day of the euro, and it continues to push higher. We're making a nice move here and we're now hitting this level that I was talking about this morning, the 118.250. Certainly let's keep an eye on it today, and let's see where the pair wants to close today. If we get a nice close above this, then, well, there could be some potential for this one to continue pushing higher. Certainly we do have our psychological 120 level here, so could act as a good level. Just let me quickly update that one. So yep, could be a good level area of resistance, and of course for that we would need to see a nice good strong close above the 118.250. On the downside, if this pair suddenly reverses and moves back down below the 117,500, well, this could be an alarm here, red alert, and we could be seeing maybe a bit of selling coming into this pair, and this could be driven by the bears towards this 116,500. But like I said, keep an eye on this area, guys. On the if suddenly this pair reverses, keep an eye on the 117,500. A good close below it could push this pair a little bit lower again. But for now, again, the potential is still kind of more to the upside rather than the downside, and it is kind of looking promising for now. One more, an interesting one to show you as well is the EURGBP. Now, we're getting a nice pop here today, finally kind of moved away from this sideways action, and we're now kind of hitting this 200 EMA, certainly hitting these important key resistance areas. Of course, let's see where today's day is going to close. Now, there is some potential for this one to go higher, and if we tomorrow, for let's say, if we see a continuation here to the upside, if we see a break above this this level right here, the 0.88300, if we do get a nice break here above, then the next area to watch could be this area around the 0.88450, which a break of which could open the path towards higher levels. Now, on the overall, you probably know, and you probably noticed that this pair continues to trade within this downwards moving channel, and of course, if we do get a nice break above the 0.88.450, then we could start aiming for this area right here at around 0.89200. So this also coincides with the upper side of the channel. Certainly, of course, it's too early to talk about a break of this channel. I mean, let's see initially if it gets here to this point, but if it does, then we'll probably we'll have to reevaluate everything again and see if it wants to break it or not. If suddenly this reverses and moves lower again, well, keep an eye on this area, guys. Let me just quickly highlight that for you. I do apologize for the external noises that we're having some office renovations right now, and yeah, they're not very helpful. But anyway, so if we do get a nice break here and a move below the 0.88100, well, stay sharp, because we could see maybe a bit of retracement again, maybe moving lower, because like I said, this pair is slightly annoying, and it likes to kind of, let's say, move sideways, and yeah, I mean, it likes to take out a lot of traders. So that's why I'm saying be very careful with this one. Even though the trend is kind of currently is more to the upside, still I'm talking about the short-term trend is still more to the upside. Still, we could see some sort of a reversal back down. Let's quickly look at the EURJPY. Now, this is looking strong as well, and we are moving nicely into this, well, or should I say, above this upwards moving trend line, this flattish upwards moving trend line, and we're currently aiming for this 50 EMA initially, and then after that we will be aiming for this downwards moving trend line for a test from underneath. Could be a good area to test, so keep an eye on it, guys. Keep an eye on these levels, like I said, and you can probably notice that as well, that we are moving, kind of forming here some sort of like a V-shaped, symmetrical V-shaped formation. So keep an eye on it, guys. I mean, it's an interesting one, so currently aiming for this downwards moving trend line. Let's quickly touch on the GBP USD, and GBP USD is not performing very well. We're seeing now the daily candle turning bearish and turning red, and of course all eyes are on this 133.90 mark. Now, if we do get a close below this, then this could turn out to be ugly for the GBP USD, and we could see maybe a move back down towards this 133 area. If suddenly this if this reverses back up again and we stay above this 21 EMA, still keep an eye on this 134.55 area that continues to act as a good level of resistance. Now, if we do get a break above that, well, this could open the path for higher levels, but for now, to be honest, just judging by the current price action, it's a bit tricky to say that there could be some sort of a continuation, maybe back to the upside. So probably let's wait for tomorrow and see what it wants to do tomorrow. Okay guys, I will have to wrap it up here. I'm running out of time as always, so I hope we didn't manage to cover all the pairs, to be honest. There are some good ones that are USD CAD is quite performing interestingly, and the USD JPY is something to look out for, but we're going to cover those tomorrow, and I hope you're going to join me tomorrow in my Traders Espresso at 6 o'clock GMT time, 7 o'clock British Summer Time. But for now, keep an eye on the price action, and thank you very much for listening and watching. Bye bye.